What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another Executive Mindset, and this one will be an interesting one here. May get some hate talking about this light-skinned king I'm about to get on. You know, it is what it is. And before we get into it, y'all go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the Prejex TV and check us out when we dropping this new content. But this one is going to be about Steph Curry and his place among the clutchest players to play the game. Like, don't get me wrong, Steph is an amazing basketball player and the greatest shooter I've seen, and probably you've seen too. But as far as the eye test and looking at actual games, I don't view him as being clutch. You know, I believe too many people attach greatness and clutch, but they don't always work interchangeably. Like, sure, when you break down some of the statistics of clutch and the advanced metrics, a lot of those will be in his favor, but the eye test and watching actual film tells me I'd rather have quite a few other players to execute a shot to win an important game. Like, I remember on First Take, this was maybe a year or two ago when Max Kellerman was on there. You know, he said if he had one shot on the Golden State Warriors team, he would choose Andre Iguodala to take the shot. Now, beside that, the fact of that just being a really bad hot take, I felt the essence of what he was trying to say. What he was really trying to say was, yes, Steph is an awesome shooter and basketball player, but he doesn't make those type of clutch shots when it matters most. Stay with me now before, some of you start, trying to throw eggs at me. See, I see Steph as a one-man show, meaning his presence alone makes defenses guard the rest of the team differently. That factor by itself puts him in rare air with some of the greatest to play the game, like Michael Jordan, LeBron, Magic, but as far as actually making the shot, I would pick several other players to go get me a bucket or hit a three with the season on the line. Like, I'll name 9 less notable players. Yes, I said 9. I'd pick ahead of Steph in a minute, but let me say this. Although Steph is an elite player, and I believe should be in the top 20, 25 all time right now, he's a notorious front runner, meaning when he has you down, he's at his best. Like, he'll initiate a comeback, within the game or playoff, whatever, but he won't necessarily finish it. On his championship teams, the players I'd rather have the ball in their hands for a clutch shot were Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. And you can argue that Steph being out there on the floor helped make those shot opportunities easier, and I would agree, but you got to hit the shot at the end of the day. I remember that Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals, and Steph was just horrible down the stretch. The team went a full 5 minutes and probably a little change without scoring a basket. And the majority of the time, Steph was being guarded one-on-one by Kyrie Irving. And for those that know Kyrie Irving, I mean, he's serviceable when called upon, but defense is not his thing. And this was prime Curry in his back-to-back MVP 50, 40, 90 historic season. To his credit, I will say it was revealed later after those finals that Steph was hurt for a good portion of that playoff run, but even then, the type of shooter, the quick release and accuracy he has, I give no excuses for him not to make at least 1 or 2 big shots within the last 5 minutes of that game. And truth be told, out of the 3 championships he has, those finals in 2016 was the only final series that was close or even in any question whether they were going to win it or not. Because when KD came that following summer to win 2 more rings, those quote unquote clutch moments were thrown out the window because they were that much better than everyone else. So that 2016 finals, in my opinion, showed me a lot about Steph's clutchness. And when his team needed a bucket to win, even in his prime, he couldn't deliver. Like, in my opinion, all elite generational players should be judged by what they do in their prime and when they have the necessary pieces around them to win. These are the 9 less notable players I'd rather for me to go get me a bucket to win the game. Klay Thompson, to me, he the real light-skinned assassin. What he did in game 6 of, what was that, the 2016 Western Conference Finals against OKC when they came back from 3-1, like, still looking at old clips of that, man. It's just amazing to see. Reggie Miller, give me Ray Allen, Kawhi Leonard. A lot of folks slipping on Kawhi because he be injured a lot, but give me a bucket. He'll do that. Dirk Nowitzki, Chauncey Billups, Derek Fisher, Isaiah Thomas, and Chris Paul. Those are my 9. You know what I'm saying? And these players don't have all the accolades and star power like Steph does, but they were dogs when the game was on the line in those important moments. And it's easy to name players like Magic, MJ, Bird, Kobe, or LeBron, for clutch players in that moment. But, those were kind of easy. I wanted to make a point that there are quite a few other players you could name outside of the obvious that you would think hard about if you rather Steph has the ball in his hand with the game on the line or them. And you could maybe even throw in there Robert Horry in that mix. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, this is not saying Steph is not an all-time great, a top 3 point guard ever, or a generational talent. I'm just focusing on what I call clutch. Golden State has put the perfect pieces around Steph in order to maximize his potential. He doesn't necessarily need to be clutch when he has others that will finish the job. I believe this is a big reason a lot of the players in the league quietly hate on Steph, because he has a team tailor-made to make him consistently look like a bigger force than he really is. And since he's the offensive engine, he will always get the majority of the credit. Now, that's a whole nother discussion for another day, but what do y'all think? Using the eye test and watching playoff and certain regular season games, is Steph Curry clutch? Or would you rather have any of the other 9 players I named if you had one shot to win or go home?